This is FanCastic, the fancasting podcast where we fancast all your favorite characters from adult fantasy, romantasy, and fiction. I'm your host, Loretta Ann. I'm an audiobook narrator, former actress, and current Hollywood professional. So meet me in another realm and let's make some magic. Hello, mere mortals. Welcome to part 1 of our season finale episode of FanCastic. I cannot believe that we have done 13 episodes, almost 14 episodes when this is split into 2 parts. We are doing Heir of Fire with Adara in 2 parts because there are so many people to cast. There are so many different characters. This is part 1. In this episode, we're going to talk about how we felt about Heir of Fire, how we feel where we're starting to read Assassin's Blade now as book number 4. Instead of maybe reading it as book number 1, we're having some second thoughts. And maybe if we wanted to sub some cast members that we have already fan cast, we'll go over a little bit of those. We'll go over how we're going to split up this episode into part 1 and part 2, who we'll be casting. And there are some fun surprises along the way in this episode. So get ready for part 1. We're happy you're here. Thank you so much for everyone who has listened thus far for this season. And we can't wait for what was coming in season 2. Enjoy part 1. Fan casting Heir of Fire. Let's bring in Adara. Hi, Adara.
Hi, Loretta.
Welcome to the final episode of FanCastic for the season.
Season finale. I'm so excited.
Holy shit. I've done 13 of these episodes.
Wow. Really?
Bitch, I'm
I
tired.
didn't realize it's been that many.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. That's actually really awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm exhausted. My TBR list is being finalized for season 2. So you and I were just briefly talking about a few that we're going to be adding, and you will be reading with
My
me.
summer TBR list is not quite as long as yours.
Mm.
I mean, I bought a whole bunch of books, and I'm finally starting a few that I haven't started, like Iron Flames, and things like that. I don't know what order I'm going to read any of it yet in, but...
Yes. My TBR list right now is 43 books, and I have to whittle it down. And I'm going to try to read at least half during the summer, which summer break, we'll be taking a break from weekly episodes, mid-June through, we'll be coming back in September. And maybe a little extra thing in August, surprise thing. I'm going to try to formulate what to read. I have my few stacks back here that are like, some of them are like so far up on my list. The Dread Descendant is one I really want to read and will definitely be in our September fan casting. And then there's Lady Nightmare by Rachel Yolde, which another one that I got in Arizona. I really want to read that one. I also really want to read Belladonna for the first time. I haven't read that. And we love Adeline Grace. And then you and I were just talking about what you just picked up by Runix, which is a dark academia gothic read. Yeah, Enigma. So I think I'm gonna pick that one up. We could either read the same one, or I could read Gothicana, which is on my list, and we could kind of compare because it's also supposed to be the same author type of thing. We could do like a different like individual cast, like this is who I would cast for this, and this is who I would cast for this.
Yeah, that might be.
Because if they're basically the same book, we don't want to read them both. Says the Goodreads reviews. So take those with a grain of salt, of course. Then, yeah, like the book talk books, the new ones that are coming out right now are like all over the place. I've added a few. From Blood and Ash is on my list. Summer in the City. I just want to read like a fun little rom-com.
Book Lovers, which somebody at my work put on like the free bookshelf. So I was like, coming with me.
You're gonna come home with me.
Yeah, so there's like free books.
Yeah, hell yeah. I pass the little free libraries all the time. And I'm always like, anything in there? I did get 2 of the My Soul to Take books. They're like monster romance.
That's also where sometimes you can find like original print Throne of Glass or Lander or like
People just like throw stuff.
Ones. Because like moms, like their daughters have like left and they were like, I don't need any of these books. And they just toss them in the little free library. And it's like, this is a first edition.
one of the best ones that's by us is outside of an orthodontist office. And so it's just like filled with like random stuff like fantasy reads and history books. I got In Pieces, Sally Field's memoir was in there because I already had a copy of it, but my dogs ate the cover of it. I had one dog at the time. Ate the cover, yeah, and it was in pieces. It was a hardcover, so I got it. And I was like, oh, great. So that's our summer TBR list. I know we're going to be doing a poolside day when you come to visit LA.
Know. It's coming out at the end of July, and we were talking like, do we do Disney? Do we do Universal? And I said, I have a suggestion. Do we go to a pool for a day and just sit in silence and read books?
Yeah, and like get snacks or drinks from the bar and like just read all day
reading
and just be there.
It's going to be the end of July, so we'll have to see how hot and crazy it's going to be. Like, need to make sure we get under an umbrella.
Yeah, it'll be warm. Okay, we're here finally doing Heir of Fire. We took quite a long break from Crown of Midnight. And I'm still working my way through Assassin's Blade. I'm so bad with like large series. It was such a commitment. And I think I'm so cranky that someone ruined a lot of it for me on TikTok. I don't even want to read it anymore. I'm just mad.
Yeah, give yourself a little bit of time. And, I know you've been reading Sunrise on the Reaping and all of that. So enjoy those. Yeah. Get it out of your brain for a little bit. And then let's power through this summer and try to get
Yeah, Sunrise on the Reaping, I just started last night. So I'm finally going, I think it's like 300 pages. I should be done with it in 2 weeks. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Have you ever read that?
No, but I watched the movie.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. We're going to do a little tangent because I just watched the movie last night.
Okay.
I am fucking mad.
Why?
I have never been so pissed of a book adaptation in my entire life. I did not watch that movie. I waited 2 years to watch that movie because I hadn't read the book yet. So I read the book.
Like, terribly off from the book?
Horrible. There's so many important key relationships, characters, scenes, dialogue that is not included.
Interesting. And
nothing is explained.
I wonder if that's what happens. Like, it feels very similar to the final season of Game of Thrones when you based on the timing, I don't think the book had been published yet.
No, it did.
When they had greenlit the movie.
No, the book came out 5 years ago.
The book came out, but I'd be curious when they started writing the script.
They started writing the script in 2022. My friend Gina worked on it at Lionsgate, and it was like the book came out, and they were like, let's see if the book gets hyped. And then they did. They bought the rights, the whole thing. Like, the book was out because they had to go through a buying the rights deal while the book was out. I just am so upset. The movie was fucking 3 hours.
Yeah, it was a long one.
It was 3 hours, and I get it because the book is done in 3 parts. It's like the mentorship, the Hunger Games, and then the Peacekeeper part of it, which that threw me for a loop. But I am so upset. The book in general, like, I hated the ending. It made me upset. I was like, this sucks. You made us learn and love this character and root for her this entire book. And then she's just like TBD. Like, hello? Okay, cool. It went with the song. How artistic of you.
I haven't read it, nor have I read Sunrise, but sometimes I wonder, are you writing it because you actually have more of the story to tell, or are you writing it because it's your most popular series?
I mean, ding, ding, ding. Like, that's definitely it. She's doing it to make money. I liked the book. I really did enjoy the book. I hated the ending, but I enjoyed the book because I love a villain. Mm-hmm. I love the start of a villain, and he truly does become and is and was an entitled fucking asshole, even in the worst of times. You know, he goes back and forth, but all of that is apparent in the book, and it's not apparent in the movie at all. It was so confusing. And Sean watched it with me, and he was like, wait, are they like in love with each other? And I was like, no, not in real life. He is using her. He's using her to win because he's dead broke, and he doesn't want anyone to know that he's dead broke because he's a Snow. And so he's using her and using Sejanus and using all these other people to make money and to make sure that his ego and name is not soiled and deflated or anything. And none of that is shown in the movie. In the movie, you're like, wow, he was really nice. They had a thing together. Oh, wow. Like, Sejanus is really his friend. No, he hates everybody. And there's like his inner monologue. There was a paragraph that I read to Sean a couple weeks ago because he was like, how was your book? And I was like, bro, to my husband, calling him bro, you have to read this, listen to this. And I read a passage. Coriolanus Snow was like, that's horrible to one person. And then the next thing is like his narration of, wow, that's so fucking pathetic. I can't even believe I would associate myself with somebody like that. I was like, oh, like it's such an interesting read because yeah, he sucks. He's a horrible person. And he continues to become a horrible person. And he has so many moments where he could choose to be a better person and he doesn't. In the movie, you don't see any of that. However, I'm ranting about this and speaking about the movie because I finally saw Tom Blythe in something.
Yep.
I'd only seen clips.
Let's tie it in to the Throne of
Glass.
I
hadn't. The Throne of Glass. I finally saw him. And it absolutely confirmed that he is correct for Dorian. I think he would be fantastic.
Great.
He's really good. His blue eyes are great. I think he's insanely attractive. There is one part in the movie and he grabs Lucy Gray and he's like, you're going to go on that stage and you're going to sing Get Out of Here. And he like grabs her by the face like this. And he's like in her face. And I was like, yum. It was like, hello.
Dark hair.
Right, with the dark hair and like his blue eyes, it would be incredible. He had the shaved head in this and he looked like Eminem. But yeah, it reaffirmed that. Did I tell you that Emily brought forth in ACOTAR that we should replace Dorian with an actor named Patrick Ball?
No, she didn't.
Okay. Have you heard of the show The Pit?
Yes.
Okay. Have you watched it?
Yeah, I watched all of it.
Okay.
Every week.
So he is Dr. Leahy?
Doctor? No.
Yeah.
The drug addict doctor.
Yeah, the hot one who's got like the little dimple chin and the blue eyes.
I still like our original Dorian.
I agree. And I watched The Pit and I just didn't see him like in The Pit. So Emily and I went and saw Hamlet the other night. It was the most dog shit thing I've ever seen in my whole life. It was horrible. And CTG should be embarrassed. It's not Hamlet. It's 45 minutes of Hamlet. And then you've seen Slave Play, right?
Yeah.
It's Slave Play. It's the exact same concept where all of a sudden you think it's one thing, right?
Yep.
You think it's like one thing and then it switches and it's actually contemporary play about something else.
Yep.
It's that.
Okay, great.
It is. You know what the craziest part is?
What?
The guy who's playing Horatio, who they call Horatio, because he is sleeping with Hamlet.
He's a hoe.
And Hamlet's bisexual. He's a hoe. And I love that they made Hamlet bisexual. I was like, correct. I think that's an interesting choice. The actor who played Horatio was in Slave Play.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Enjoyed Slave Play,
but he's
actually.
like he was the tall, skinny one.
Okay.
Who's that character's name?
I don't remember. I'd have to.
Oh my God. I'm blanking because I haven't seen Slave Play in a while since it was in New York. So it was that. It was horrible. It was marketed as Hamlet. It is not Hamlet.
Interesting.
And Gina Torres is in it from Firefly.
Okay.
She was great. I loved her a lot. But Patrick Ball was really good.
Okay. Good to know.
Really good. I could see him being Dorian from this. However,
I couldn't see him being Dorian from The Pit.
I agree. I think he's really attractive, but acting-wise, it wasn't the same thing. Acting-wise in Hamlet, it absolutely was. Sorry, Hamlet, quotations. It absolutely was. He was this close to my face. We were right in the front row, and we hated the show so much, and I, like, couldn't hide my face.
I've done it. Where I've been like...
Girl, there was TikToks. Rosencrantz gave somebody a cell phone next to me and asked them to hit record for a TikTok. The Plays the Thing was a TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Ophelia was vaping. There were emojis projected on the screens.
Interesting. Well, you know what? Listen, At least they're trying something different. It didn't hit.
It was horrible. I hated it. Okay, tangent. But anyways, he was hot.
That leads us to, how do we feel about Kit Connor and Sadie Sink?
Well, I don't think I like Sadie Sink.
Interesting. Okay.
I think she's too young. She's too baby.
In terms of how she looks?
In terms of how she acts. Did you see her for Ham?
No, I didn't.
She's a child. She's a literal child still, which is hard because...
So is Selena.
But the characters in Throne of Glass in this series are only their ages because Sarah J. Maas was 16. So to her, she's an adult. You know what I mean? I was like thinking about that because I was like, why are they so young? They're not doing child things. Is it like an introspective of like kids having to do adult things in this time? Or was it a 16-year-old who was writing a book and was like, I'm going to make a character be 300 years old, but he looks 20 and he's older than her. Like, it's like, I don't know. I don't think Sadie Sink is the right choice still, because I think it needs to be somebody a little bit who needs to be older.
So
yeah, she has a baby face still.
Yeah. Do we allow like 1 point re-proposal? Listen, I'm still really feeling like after you finish Assassin's Blade, whatever, like at one point each of us can come in and say, I propose swapping out this actor for this actor.
I mean, I think so. I think we can change it up. Yeah. I mean, if you have someone that you like, nope, I think it's this person.
I don't.
Always bring forth. Yeah, I have no idea who I would pick.
I am going to try to go see John Proctor was the villain so I can see her live to see how. Yeah. And she is playing a teenager then, like a high schooler. So it'll be interesting to see how she is like a 21-year-old now plays a high schooler. It's just what she was doing in Ham for Ham. If she plays something different. She also has another movie that's coming out, or a TV series. I forget what it is.
It's out.
Is it out?
It was like on Amazon it's like
or something.
Yeah, it's like a modern
Odessa.
Yeah. Yes. I'd
be curious to see her in. I haven't watched it because it's a post-apocalyptic musical drama film written and directed by Jeremy Jasper that retells the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. I think we should think on it. And I think this will help based who like our Rowan is going to be, and things will help a lot. It's hard because this is all supposed to happen within a year.
I want to see Warfare because I think that might really solidify or not my decision about Kit Connor.
Kit Connor can stay because I don't like Kale anyways. So I don't feel strongly about that. Like, really.
It'll show him, though, as like a soldier, as a warrior, like all of those things.
We can find clips. You don't have to go see the movie. Just go find clips. Or if you have AMC, you're not really supporting it.
Completely enamored by the press that they all did together, all of the boys. It is Kit Connor. It is Joseph Quinn. It's the Sopranos guy's son. Sopranos lead actors who died.
I've never watched the
James
Sopranos.
Gandolfini, his son. But they were all you could tell they had a really fun time on that set, and they all really enjoyed each other, and they like genuinely liked each other as people. And I
hope so, unless their PR is like paid extra, but
they were just they were like shooting the shit and having so much fun with some of these like interviewers and questions, and you could tell they all just genuinely liked each other. And they talked about it's because they all essentially did boot camp together for this movie.
Good. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Hollywood is missing right now is camaraderie. Everyone's just at each other's throats. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. That's all anyone does now.
Keisha Lewis and
I'm so angry at Patti LuPone right now. I don't even want to get into it because editing this episode will be dog shit if we don't move on.
Yep.
But anyways, to answer your question, I don't feel like we need to switch anyone out yet.
Okay.
But I do think that Sadie Sink is too baby-faced. And seeing her just as herself, as Ham for Ham, I just don't think where this book is going right now and everything that Selena, Aelin, is going through, I don't think they match. I don't think it's the right fit. I don't think she's powerful enough. But we can revisit that a later date.
Let's
maybe
revisit
Queen of
that
Shadows.
this fall. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
for your listeners and viewers who don't know what Ham for Ham is, why don't you tell us?
Ham for Ham is Lin-Manuel Miranda. If you don't know first of all, if you don't know what Ham for Ham is, and it's the year of 2025.
Year of our Lord, 2025.
And like how do you not know what Ham for Ham is? Yeah, that would be crazy to me, and you shouldn't be listening to me. But Ham for Ham is a monthly?
Is no longer weekly or monthly. He does it for special occasions now. It originally started out as a weekly
lottery, live lottery.
It was the lottery.
The Hamilton
daily
Broadway.
At first.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think it might have been daily at first, only on like Friday, Saturday, Sundays, on the weekends or something. It started in 2015, I think, 2014 or 2015. So it's been 10 years. If you don't know what Ham for Ham is, that's crazy. Lin-Manuel Miranda will host special events with musical guests of other Broadway shows, stars of other Broadway shows. So Sadie Sink is in John Proctor as a villain, so he had her come and MC with Jinx Monsoon was there. And then they, Death Becomes Her and stuff. But anyways, you go there's a performance. They do songs from Hamilton, other casts, or a lot of switcheroo miscast things, which is fun. And then they do a lottery, and if you win, you pay a Hamilton. Yeah,
$10 Hamilton. Yeah,
$10 Hamilton.
And that ended up just being a fun, free performance that he ended up doing. Yeah. And then he did one each day this past week because it's Tony Awards week, or coming up on Tony Awards week.
Yeah, so highlighting all the noms,
highlighting all the Tony Award nominees. So they had Sunset Boulevard, they had Death Becomes Her, which I'm seeing next week, and all sorts of. They had The Real Women Have Curves. They had Buena Vista Social Club, like all sorts of really great actors and singers. Did a little free show. There's no more lottery associated with it.
Now they're like, what? You can just buy tickets for a normal price now because it's like the 27th cast. I mean, it's still expensive. But Jinx Monsoon, I was supposed to see in Anything Goes here, but they canceled it because Los Angeles was on fire. Didn't get to see that. So if you're in New York, look out for it on socials and you might get to see a bunch of cool people. You will like Death Becomes Her. I'm excited for you to see that.
Wait. I can't wait.
So fun. The Do It for the Gays song killed me dead. It's so good. Jennifer Simiard is everything and anything I've ever wanted to be in my life. Broadway girlies. Okay, we have to talk about Heir of Fire. We have to talk about the book. There's so many new characters. We're going to kind of speed run through this. Who's your favorite character now?
I honestly think Rowan is.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot of maybe more nuance to Rowan than we found in either Kale or Dorian. And so I'm excited to learn more about who and what he is and what he's going to bring to the table and what his future is with Aelin Selena, because I have not read spoilers, so you may know, I don't know. I liked his energy. I have this something's going to be going on here. I also, just as a whole group, thought the witches were just great.
Oh my God. I love the Yellow Legs, the Blue Bloods, and the Blackbeaks. Obsessed with that storyline. I love that they were like, and now there's witches. Bye. Great. I'm in.
Excited to see how, like in my dream world, they all become best friends.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen.
Exactly.
But in my dream world, they're going to all get to the fight and be like, what are we fighting for? Let's just kill this king and like call it,
Yeah.
For me, it really felt like the storytelling was finally starting to. I felt like Selena was being a little brat for a little. And I
still feel like she's being a whiny little brat.
She still is.
It's hard for me to read this, but
she still is. And I think that's due to her age and Sarah's age when she wrote this.
Yeah.
She seems to have an easier time doing character development for the other characters than she is for Selena right now. And I'm trying to figure out why. Like, what is coming up with her to justify the whiny brattiness that we've been seeing as of late. And wonder if, had we read this when we were 18, 19 years old, if it would feel differently about it than reading it in our mid to late 30s? Because I'm like, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of feel the same way, that it's like, why are you complaining about that? There's a lot of things that I feel like I had a lot of problems with in this book. I think out of the ones we've read so far, this is my favorite book. Maeve is my favorite. She's probably a terrible human.
As Maeve.
Oh, she is probably I am I will fight to the death for my Maeve.
Okay.
Maeve. I will fight to the death.
Okay.
Because immediately I knew that this has to be Maeve. Has to.
Okay.
I'm
really
and I have so
hoping,
many reasons I am better.
Wouldn't it be great if this was because we have not had any same casting.
We haven't. No.
I'm like, wouldn't it be great if Maeve was the one where we both immediately locked in?
I will throw my computer. I will throw my computer away. Oh my God. Maeve is my favorite. I'll fight to the death for her. You're not going to be pleased with what I've done with Rowan. Okay. I have two. Okay. And I need to work through it. I have one choice that I think is the better choice and one choice that I think is the logical choice. And I couldn't decide. Based on her description of Rowan, I had to go back and forth. Because I like him so much, I just kind of went for somebody I found attractive. Okay. I went really dug into the character. So he's supposed to be old.
Yes.
Right?
He's like very old. Faye old.
She says specifically he has the face of a 20-year-old.
Mm-hmm. I cast somebody in their early 30s. I was like...
I cast somebody in their late 30s and somebody else. We'll get into it. I have reasons. So I was like, I gotta have two. I really love Emrys and Malachi. We love Gay. Hi, Gay. Happy Pride. Happy Pride. Love them. And I'm really excited about those choices. Manon, her character, I love. And Abraxas is basically Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon.
Honestly, I wanted to, because I thought that same thing too. And I was like, do we put a slot for Abraxas? And then we both just like put Toothless up there. Because I was like, the only thing I can think of is Toothless. But then I would have found a screenshot from the upcoming live action version of it versus like the cartoon version.
Yep. I'm going to put Toothless as our bonus character as Abraxas.
Okay. So I also...
With the wildflowers, because he just lays there and he goes, with the wildflowers.
So then I also need to tell you, there is a bonus character that I submitted to Emily that you don't know.
Okay, sick. I love it. Okay. So to let listeners know, we're doing something different. This episode is going to be, it's going to be 2 parts because there's so many people. And we have decided to combine the slides. And we have had Emily Goodmanson, who you know from our ACOTAR episodes and Court of Mist and Fury. Emily is coming on as a podcast manager. She's helping me with graphics. She's helping me with scheduling. So I asked her, hey, can you do us a favor and combine Adara and I's for Heir of Fire? Because there's so many. So when we are going through our casting deck, we usually go one at a time. If you're listening to this, hopefully you're not new here. And this time, we're not. They're going to be on the same slide. So we will be able to react to each other's choices at the same time. Each of us can say, okay, this is why, and then we can decide right there in real time who it is. If there's anyone that we're like, well, we need to table it and look back at somebody else, we can do that. Hopefully this will kind of speed the episodes up a little bit, create a little bit more of a fun reaction and discourse, and save me some editing time, selfishly.
My request to your listeners and viewers is that comment and let Loretta know what they think of the new format, because if this works, then it'll stick through next season.
Yes, we will keep it for season 2 if this is what works, and we'll figure out the logistics of how to do that with guests and stuff. But if you do like the new format and you think it moves better, it's more exciting, it was more fun, comment, let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram. That is where I'm most active. Our TikTok exists, but I'm not on there because somebody ruined this series for me and I'm afraid. And Adara might be taking it over anyways. So, Heir of Fire. Yeah, I liked this book a lot. I think it was really exciting coming off of Crown of Midnight, which was a little
slow.
A little slow.
It was a little blasé. I was like, what are we doing here? She's just complaining about life. She's just shopping.
Right.
She's shopping and killing people. Yeah, I was like, what are we doing?
What are we doing here? This one was a lot more exciting. Yeah, we had new characters and we had a new expansion of the world and an understanding of maybe what Aylin's role is and her flashback to what happens to her family and what happens that night and her fire powers. And Rowan, of course, it's an enemies to TBD. You can tell that it's like a tumultuous relationship that also makes me question, does Sarah J. Maas have daddy issues? Because she's constantly pairing these young girls up with, like, old fae men who have to, like, basically father her, and then, like...
They're still young.
They're young and hot, so I was kind of like, she got daddy issues? What's going on here? We mentioned Manon and the witches. There's the Iron Teeth witches that are now part of the story and are being housed and trained and stuff by the king. Basically, join his cause. We learn about the rings and the black obsidian, and the towers and the placement of the towers. We hear more about what happened the day that magic was taken from everybody. It's a lot of questions answered, more questions posed with a better understanding of what the fuck we're doing here, which I really liked a lot.
And understanding, I think, how the king is being a lot more, at least secretive to Dorian about what his plans are for world domination, because we're seeing him on different shores and we're seeing his people doing things, shady things elsewhere that Dorian's like, what are you doing? You know?
Yes.
Dorian has no clue.
Exactly.
We also see some things happen to Dorian too in terms of his own character development that I don't like him anymore any less necessarily.
Yeah.
Kale, I like Kale less. Dorian has stayed the
Kale
same.
is like meh, whatever. I think he's a waste of character. I don't really know what he's doing here. Apparently that's supposed to change in Tower of Dawn, whatever.
Which is why we're doing a tandem read.
We are, because I can't read a whole Kale book. I will die of boredom. I was like really mad at Dorian in this book. What the fuck is going on with you and this Sorsha girl? What the fuck? I love that a new character was introduced. I hate that. Why did that happen? It was so weird. It was like, she's, Selena's gone and I'm sad and lonely and now I love somebody and now that I can't be with that person though because they're a healer, and it's just, it feels like the entitled emo prince causing issues.
Like he was leading her on.
Yeah, 100%. Like he's using the fuck out of her. Like it felt like, but then it was like, oh no, I really love you.
Yeah, her character's there for one purpose only, and that was to get us to the very end. Die, and that was to get us to the very end for the shocker in terms of what happens to Dorian.
Yeah. Oh, and this is not a no spoiler podcast. If you're listening to this, it's your own fucking fault. He gets collared, so he's going to be under
magical.
Yeah, he's got magic. He's taking iron pills to suppress his magic, and then he finds out his dad sucks when Sorsha gets her head lopped off, and he gets collared. Aelin's cousin was doing the double crossing situation with the fake ring, and he's actually been trying to find Aelin the whole time. And he's in a dungeon now. So
to be used for nefarious purposes.
Everybody gets fucked at the end, and not in a fun way. It's very exciting to go into Queen of Shadows, but I'm pushing my way through Assassin's Blade. I'm so bored. I think I would have liked to start with it instead of going into it. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't want to sit down and read like this anymore. She's a character I don't care about anymore because now I met all these other characters that I really do like, and we should cast them.
Let's do it.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, guys. This is a new formatted of the fan casting of Heir of Fire. I don't know what's happening when I'm clicking. So what do we got first? So first up, we have Adian. I'm so nervous. I don't know how this works. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, it says part 1. False alarm. Okay. So, starting off with part 1. Here we go. Starting off with who we think is Adian, I believe.
Ashriver.
Adian Ashriver, cousin of Aelin Galathius.
Although I heard on a TikTok that the narration of it for the official audiobook is Ash River.
Oh, I like that better.
So Adian Ash River.
Ash River. I like that. Ashy River. Interesting. Fire, water. Dumb. Okay. Cool. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Wait, you can't. Wait. I don't accept him.
You don't?
I can't accept him.
Why?
No, because they were brother and sister in Stranger Things. They can't be cousins.
That's the exact reason that I wanted to bring them back together in a familiar relationship, because they were... And he was so good in like a kind of a shitty person role. Like, but then he wasn't shitty at the end of it.
No, we already have David Harbour. We can't do the whole cast of Stranger Things. Okay, Adara, explain. You have chosen whom?
I have chosen Dacre Montgomery. And the reason why I chose Dacre Montgomery is the exact reason that you are refusing to accept him in this role. And that is because I thought that they had such a good familial relationship going, but then also on the outside, his character was a total dickhead. But then he still had like love and care for his sister. And so I was like, let's expand on that really great working relationship and let's reunite them and bring them back. I also have a few other people from different projects that I'm reuniting in this entire thing, because I was like, you know what? They were so good together, I want to repeat it. So Dacre Montgomery is my choice for Adian Ashford, and that's why.
Okay.
But I'm not going to fight to the death for him either. Just say it.
Okay. Well, do you think he also, my other qualm is, doesn't he look like Leo Woodall, who is our archer?
Yeah.
It took me, I was delayed because I was like, isn't that Leo? Wait. Oh, no. I had to like read the name.
You're not
okay,
wrong.
I don't love it. I don't love it. I'm so sorry. I just, they're too close because he loves her like a sister, and she doesn't have any other siblings. In this book, it is described as like, he would be like her brother. It's too similar. So
and see, I like the similarity, but
okay. I have Austin Butler. I don't like Austin Butler as an actor. I find him fucking annoying, and I think he's perfect for this. Not because Adian is annoying at all, but I think he is. We've seen him play evil in Dune. We've seen him play charismatic in Elvis. We've seen him play even in the Carrie Diaries. He's otherworldly a bit. Like, I feel like he would have some sort of powers. He would have some sort of family line. I love him with long blonde hair. I think that's the look that we're going to, without casting everybody from House of the Dragon, which is incredibly hard not to do, by the way, when it comes to Rowan. I was like, no, you can't cast these people. So I thought Austin Butler was a good choice because he's not always there to the point where he would be annoying. I know that he's in some fan casts as Rowan, and I think that would be too much for me, but I have Austin Butler as Adian.
I'll concede it to you for this one because there are other characters that I would rather fight for.
Okay, hopefully it's not Maeve. So our Adian moving forward is going to be Austin Butler. Great, locked in. Next.
I still don't think that my reasoning was a bad reasoning, but I
don't think it's a bad reasoning. I just don't think it's an acceptable reason.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But I do love him as an actor, though. I don't love this photo of him.
I wanted to find a more blondie photo, and it was hard to find because he's not a natural blonde. So that's what I was looking for.
I love him with the curly hair. I miss the curly hair, even though I think that's a wig, but I like it. So he should have it. Okay, next we have, I have no idea. Ren. Oh, okay. Ren Allsbrook.
We both went person of color for this.
Yes.
Love.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go first. I have Derek Luh, is also known as a musical artist. I think he's so hot. My choice for Murtaugh, his grandfather, I believe, goes hand in hand with this. So it was pretty easy for me to pick Derek. I've had Derek Luh kind of in my casting pile because I actually was considering Derek Luh for Azriel at one point. Mm-hmm. I just think he's really attractive, but also mischievous, also has a different agenda, maybe has some things going on, and these are rebels to overthrow the king's plans. I really like Derek, so I tossed him in there as Ren.
Okay. I chose Defero Woon Ate. He is a Canadian Indigenous actor who is really kind of at the start of his career right now, and he is going places. He's already been nominated for an Emmy for his work in Reservation Dogs, which is a TV show, but he's literally only been in 6 movies and 6 TV shows. And he was also in Warfare, which is something that we were talking about because Kit Connor was in Warfare. And so I'd seen a little bit of him in Reservation Dogs, but I was just enamored with him in the press tour that he did for Warfare, and about how he talked about how he really tries to bring his Indigenous culture into every role that he does, and about how it's really important. Like, he makes political statements on the red carpet all the time when it comes to the history of Indigenous people in the United States and in North America. For me, for this role being such a rebel fighting against the power, I was like, let's bring in somebody who like can culturally really feel what this role is. And then also, I know I stated in our first episode, I've been trying to figure out how to make this cast as diverse as possible when it doesn't specifically state she has blonde hair and blue eyes, you know?
Yeah.
And even then, blonde hair and blue eyes doesn't necessarily mean a certain skin color. It's just what people are used to. So that's my thought for DeFera. I think that he is on the up and up with his career, and I think this would be a really cool move for him.
Awesome.
I feel like we should maybe look at the grandpa, Murtagh.
I was going to say, I think we have to go to grandpa, which I believe should be the next slide before we can decide they have to be connected as
to be
grandparents.
Believable as family.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So let's go to Grandpa Murtagh Allsbrook.
Okay.
Oh.
I love Hiroyuki.
Yep.
That's a great choice.
I have Hiroyuki Sanada. Specifically, this photo is from Bullet Train Press because I loved him in Bullet Train. He's a original kung fu fucking badass legend in film. And I think it would just be really great because we don't really know where Grandpa goes and what he's doing. And I'm kind of hoping that Grandpa, being a rebel for the cause still and an old man, shines a little somewhere else. So yeah, Hiroyuki Sanada is my choice for Murtagh Allsbrook to be the grandfather of Derek La. So I have, for listeners, my Ren and Murtagh are both Asian.
And I chose Wes Studi, who's another Indigenous actor. You and I went for very different approaches with Murtagh. And I don't think, without knowing what happens with his character in the future, I think it's honestly a 50-50. Like, I'd be so happy with mine. I'd be also so happy with yours. Like,
Same.
I have like 0 comments about either one of ours. And I think I wonder if this is one that we table and come back to once we read more of the book, because I chose Wes Studi because he gave us the very wise old grandfather. He's lived through a lot. More of maybe a calmer approach to this, but you know that he is going to know exactly what he's talking about, and he's going to have good ideas about, how to fight this revolution, coming from more of a quiet, wizened owl. Whereas you chose the guy who has seen some shit.
He will fuck some shit up if he has to.
And while I think Wes Studi can do that, Hiroyuki, don't with Grandpa Murtagh over here. Like, absolutely
How old is... Here's a deciding factor. How old... Let's go back. We're going to go back to Ren. Because I love either of our choices for Murtagh. I honestly love either of our choices for Ren as well. DeFero, I am not familiar with their work. Derek, I'm sure you're not familiar with his work. I think it should come down to age.
DeFero is 23, because I just looked at it, and Wes Studi is 70.
Okay. And I'm not concerned about the grandpas. I think Grandpa's going to go with whoever we pick for Ren, because we love both of them. Derek La is 32. Did you read Ren as older or younger?
I feel like I looked it up, and they said early to mid-20s for Ren.
Yeah.
I did feel like he was a little bit older than Selena.
I agree. And so I'm going to look up this DeFaro.
He's currently filming a Darren Aronofsky film. Good for him.
Okay, I think he looks a little young.
You're not wrong.
I think he looks a little young, and I think if we both read him as slightly older, I think we should go with Derek. But I want to bring DeFaro in somewhere.
Let's put him in our list of let's find something for him.
You know that scene where they're like running and hiding behind the barrels and like watching them talks to the guards, and there's like a whole thing, and they bring Ren, who's fucking doped up on on opium or morphine or something, and like he frequents the place. Sounds like I feel like I would see Derek being a little bit more rough around the edges like that rather than DeFaro.
Okay. And then if we're going to choose Derek, then for one of the characters in part 2, maybe then I would swap it out, but we'll get to that. And then
we can get there.
Maybe we'll get there. Yeah.
We'll get there. So then to accompany Ren Alsbrook, we're going to do Grandpa Murtaugh Alsbrook as Hiroyuki Sanada, and those are locked in.
Love it.
Great. Okay, next.
Both good choices from both.
Sorsha. I don't want to see anyone try to cast Yara Shahidi in anything.
Why not?
Ever again. She has shown up in everything I do for a fan cast.
Really?
There are other women of color.
You're not wrong.
She's beautiful. She is beautiful, but she's in everything else. I understand. I get it. She's pretty. So you have Yara Shahidi. Still explain why.
Okay. So the reason why I picked Adara Shahidi was, yes, because I was trying to add diversity into this, but based on the description that Dorian was saying in terms of this like ethereal beauty, these eyes, that kind of like pierced into his soul. That was one of the things where there was something about her look immediately where he was like, oh. And because I think that she is so gorgeous, I was like, that's a person who will like stop you in your tracks right away.
Okay.
And then she's also on the up and up in her career as well.
She is.
And I was like, she could stand to die after.
And she's in the up and up of FanCastic too, because she's here every week. Okay, my Sorsha is Avantika. She played Karen in the movie musical of Mean Girls. I think she is stunning. She is of Indian descent. She has a lot of different credits and recently has mostly been seen in Mean Girls. She's of color. She has brown skin. She has really long, pretty hair. And she, like you said, is a showstopper because she's got the prince looking at her of like, oh, damn, who are you? And I think Avantika is gorgeous. She's got like pretty full lips, really dark eyes, long, gorgeous hair. And she dies after this anyways. So I didn't want to do like a huge blockbuster of an actress because what a waste. But I really liked her.
Well, to respect your casting, we can
go
with
reaction.
Your visceral reaction. And then I think what you need to do is you need to start doing a do not cast list. Like this person is done. Like off the table.
We cannot do this person. Also, like, you guys, there are so many black actresses that are as beautiful as Yara Shahidi. Let's do some digging. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We can cast Avantika.
We're casting Avantika.
That's fine.
Okay, amazing. My apologies for my visceral reaction. I love Yara Shahidi. I do so much, but I love her not.
She can't be in every show or movie.
It's her and Joseph Quinn. They're showing up in everything, and I'm like, come on, we can't. There's other boys and girls.
Rowan, that's next, or is it Maeve?
I have no idea.
Maeve is next.
Okay.
Are we ready for this one?
I'm cracking my knuckles. I feel like I just had an insane reaction to this, so I'm just. Adara, I don't know if I like this new format because I feel like we're fighting too much. Is this more fun? I don't know.
It's more fun. It makes for better content. We're good. But let's get to Maeve because you and I both
are ready.
And I'm hoping it's the same person.
I will fight. Okay, ready?
Yeah, let's
Maeve. 1, 2, 3.
Yes! Yes! We did it! We did it!
Just, I said I would throw my computer, but I don't want to.
Yes!
Done. Maeve is Megan Fox across the board.
Done.
Duh. Duh. Is she not the most Maeve person? She's stunning.
So
she's
perfect.
Scary. She's witchy. You don't know what her agenda is. You don't know what's going on. She deletes her social media once a week. Thank God. We did it.
This is going to be probably the only time that we have the same person for a cast, and I am so proud of us that it is this role.
Me too. I was going to claw someone's eyes out if it wasn't her. It's Megan Fox. It's Jennifer's body. It is. I mean, she's. I don't know how else to explain it. She's literally a witch who.
She's an ageless, timeless witch.
Yes, who is so gorgeous that you're like, oh shit, and is so scary that you're like, oh shit. Also, I like her weird little fucking owl that she has as her last line of defense. I absolutely see this. She is like that otherworldly thing too. She looks like a witch. She looks like a vampire. And she can act.
I'm so proud of us.
I am so proud of us. I'm so proud of us. I'm not even going to change the audio levels to those screams and yelling and gasping. Nailed it. Awesome.
So upset.
Oh my God, my dogs ran in here immediately and my neighbors are probably like, is she dead? I'm proud of us. Virtual high five.
On the back.
Hell yeah. Obsessed. Good for us.
I had a feeling that you and I were on the same page because at one point we were texting about what age do we think this actor should be? And I said, well, I cast someone in their late 30s. And you're like, I did too. And I was like, I swear to God, if she did not cast Megan Fox, we're not friends. What are we doing here?
No, we can't. That's not right. This is correct. Okay, our friendship has been tested. It has passed. Next, we have...
Rowan is...
Okay, now I need to preface this. I don't know how it's laid out. I have 2 Rowans that I have chosen. One is real fun now. And the other one is a little tough. We'll explain. So here we go. Our Rowan choices are okay. I have the same reaction. Adara, why don't you go first? Who have you chosen for Rowan?
I've chosen Nicholas Hoult, and part of the reason for that is because of how tall he is.
He looks like a fucking elf.
And he looks
fey. Yeah.
He looks fey. He has the cheek. He's one of those glow ups. There's him. There's the guy who played Neville Longbottom, Matt, whatever his name is.
Josh Peck, even though he's a dick.
Josh Peck. There's Will Poulter. There's a few of those folks out there who have had a glow up. Nicholas Hoult is one of them. He his cheekbones cut. He's 6'4" in real life, and I remember correctly, the description of Rowan was that he was
6'4".
quite tall.
He is exactly 6'4".
And he also, because he's a little bit older than whoever ends up being the final Selena, he still looks young enough to where something does happen with them, friendship, romantic, whatever. I don't know yet. Don't spoil it for us, please. I wouldn't be ew, gross. But also, he gives a very wizened, he just has that aura of, yet he's still 500 years old because he's a fae who has been around for a long time. And I've seen him do a really wide range of things. I think he's brilliant in The Great. He is so flipping funny in that.
I agree. He's so funny.
In that, I just watched Juror 13 with him, which was a so-so movie, but he did fantastic in it.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, you should watch it.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
Yeah, and there's some fun twists and turns in there, but he does a really good job of a person who's just slowly breaking down over the course of a movie. And he just is really able to show his range of acting.
Well, he can be broody too, and he's hot, and there's got to be a secret side. I really like this choice. We just cast Nicholas Hoult in Onyx Storm as a small character. Who cares? I really like him. I could see him with the silver hair. I could see him with the ears. I could see, he could work out, get the body. I like him.
Okay.
Now, I for my first choice I've brought forward, I have submitted Zac Efron. Here's where I have an issue. Now, very similar things. He can act. He's very attractive. Mm-hmm. He's not tall enough.
Okay. And his 5'8" king or something like that.
Yeah. And I did cast him so that it wouldn't be creepy that he was older. But Zac Efron is famously known now for having his face change.
Yeah.
For whatever rumored reasons those are. Everyone said he got jaw implants, all these cosmetic things. He slipped and fell in his entryway and hit his face on a fountain that he has.
Injury, I don't doubt the injury. I think whatever he did after is between him and his doctor and nobody else's business. But it's clearly that something happened.
Something happened after, and I completely agree. And I don't know if it's an extra scar tissue thing. We don't know. We don't care. It's none of our fucking business. But he doesn't look like this anymore.
Yes. So you're thinking you would prefer older looking Zac Efron?
I think I would prefer this Zac Efron that is in this photo. And this was pre-accident Zac Efron. This is how I could see Rowan. I think he would be obviously clean shaven, but with the silver hair. His hair was this color. I think he would look great. He's got the beautiful green eyes. You can do some movie magic to deal with the height situation, sure. But he doesn't look like this anymore. So I only felt 80% that this was a choice that I should put forward. So my real option is extra interesting because it's Colson Baker, a.k.a. MGK. Which is real funny to have Megan Fox as Maeve now. And I almost want to do it.
You've now made this really hard.
Well, we could do it for the gag, but also he can act.
Yeah.
He used to be an actor a long time ago. I did a deep dive because I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I told Emily with my Rowan choices because I was like, I'm struggling. She firmly believes it should be Henry Cavill. I say, absolutely not. Yes in looks, no in age. No. But yes in looks and vibe and The Witcher, and I get it. Of course, we all go there. I don't think that's right. I apologize, Emily. We love you. Wrong. So he's covered in tattoos. He is 6'4". He's a little skinny. He's just got to bulk up a little bit. He looks like respectfully, a bird. He looks like a bird. He's got piercings. He's different. There's something different about him. Mm-hmm. And he's controlled by Megan Fox.
I know.
So, yes, that's the gag. But I also think he's really attractive. He looks younger. He's got this... Rowan is introduced as this hard-ass character, right? Mm-hmm. We get a little bit of his story, and he's got this past. He lost his mate. He has been through battle. He's kind of just trying to tie himself to what's going to have him survive and find a purpose. MGK, Colson Baker, is famously known for being a good dad and loving family above all else. I just think there's so many things about him that this is an insane choice. And I get it. And it's so risky. And it's not the big, bulk, hot, fey man that everyone thinks that Rowan is. You can make that into that. I really think he embodies Rowan as a person, as a character in his personal life. And I don't know if you've watched the music video of his new song, Cliché, which is a very good song, by the way. I really like it. It's like a bop. You should look up the video. He is drenched in like rain and like dancing with a small blonde girl. And I was like, hello, here it is. Thank you for solidifying this for me. So my real choice of Rowan Whitehorn is Colson Baker, a.k.a. MGK, which he is now just going by Machine because he does not like gun in his name. So
I hate so much of this choice. Because I also really like my choice. And so
right. I like Nicholas Hoult. I think it's a good choice. I think you put forth a very strong choice.
Yeah.
I put forth kind of a crazy choice, but it's so crazy that it kind of works.
I know.
Doesn't it kind of work?
It does.
And And I hesitated because I had Megan Fox as Maeve. I hesitated and I was like, will this be weird? Will everyone think it's just a gag? And that aside, I really do think he has the personality, the persona of who I see Rowan being.
This is a hard one.
It is hard. It's hard. I would be okay with Nicholas Holtz. I know, do you want to rock, paper, scissors it? Literally? Okay, let's do it. Just
two out of three? 2 out of 3 or just whoever gets the first one?
2 out of 3. Okay, 2 out of 3. Rock.
1.
Okay. Wait, there's a delay. Shit. We can't do that. Okay, never mind.
Fuck it. Let's just go with machine.
You want to flip?
No, let's just
you
go
want
with
to?
Let's go with the crazy.
Let's go with the crazy. Okay, that we've picked no one that you have cast in round 1.
I know. I'm okay with it, though. I'm okay with it. Because
you might kick my ass in round 2.
Here's the thing. We did technically pick somebody that I cast because I also cast Megan Fox.
You did. Okay.
And I really like your choices for Rowan, but for Ren and for Myrta. So, like, I don't have any complaints about that whatsoever.
Amazing.
I still am like, I like Dacre Montgomery, but I was like, let me concede that because I was getting ready to gear up for a fight for Maeve. But now that we don't have to fight for Maeve, maybe that's one that as we discover more about Adian, we can return back to that conversation.
I really like Austin Butler, and I think putting Dacre in there is kind of respectfully lazy. They've already worked together, dude. You're just putting them in the same roles. Come on.
Well, then for part 2,
come on. Who else? Is there anyone else? Is there anyone else? Is there anyone else that you would put instead of Dacre that would rival Austin Butler?
Will Poulter.
Okay. I don't hate that. He's our Jack Barlow. I don't hate that, though. I could see that because he looks evil, secret nice guy. Okay.
Exactly. I'd have to think on it a little bit more.
And I do think like him and Sadie Sink could look related. That feels a lot better than Dacre because everyone will just know. Everyone's like, but that's Stranger Things. That's their brother sister. If he wasn't Adian, if Dacre was Archer.
Who did we cast as Archer?
Leo Woodall, who looks exactly like Dacre Montgomery.
Like, I'm fine. I'm fine with it not being Dacre. I don't necessarily think that's lazy casting because for me, like, that'd be something that I like, oh, how... I mean, like, for this part 1, I'm good with it as it is. I think the only one that I would want to revisit down the road, just like we're considering revisiting Selena, is Adian. But I think we need to learn more about what these characters do before we revisit casting.
Okay.
Everyone else, I'm locked in.
Okay. All right. Part 1 then. Is this part 1? That's the end of part 1? Oh, no. We have more.
Go. Is there more for part 1? Oh, gosh.
There is. Surprise. So here we go.
Okay.
All right.
So we have one more, I believe.
Yes, we have one more.
We need to discuss.
Yes.
Then we'll be locked in on part 1.
Yes, then we'll be locked in. We are sorely mistaken. We've checked our list, and there's one more person that we didn't think about. So our last and final person for part 1 of Heir of Fire fan cast is going to be Amaris.
I do not understand you whatsoever.
Okay, I'll go first. I've chosen John Waters. He's kooky, he's weird, he's old, he's gay. I love him. I recently decided this. Now, I'm going to tell you right away, my Malachi is not Mike White. I wanted to pair John Waters and Mike White together so badly, but Mike White is not who Malachi is. Okay. So, and I came up with this while watching Everybody's Live. It used to be called Everybody's in LA. It is the John Mulaney live show that happens every Wednesday. It actually just finished the season last week. It's one of my favorite shows. It's really fun. It's just like live talking with people. And John Waters came on for an episode. And this dude is famously known as an amazing creator and actor. We will know him, of course, from Hairspray. I thought he was so kooky and different and lovable. He was just lovable and strange. And I think he goes well with who I did cast as Malachi. But I do think that Emerus and Malachi, they don't have to go together. You know, they're a lovely couple that's in love, an older demi-fae couple. So I went with John Waters because why the fuck not?
So I went with Nick Offerman, and I went for him because of the same reasons, but I'm envisioning a completely different type of like kooky nerd than you were. Like, I think you're envisioning like the artistic out there on the fringe type of kooky and weird
Storyteller.
Whereas,
Emerus is a storyteller. So
yeah.
I went with a creator, a director, a screenwriter, an actor. John Waters is it is a storyteller. So that just stuck easily for me.
And for me, especially having seen Nick Offerman in The Last of Us and seeing the range of what he can do, because we all know him as Ron Watson, who is also weird and kooky and good storyteller in his own right, you know, in terms of the character, but a different type of storyteller. And so I was envisioning kind of a combination of those two characters for Emerus, somebody who on the outside doesn't necessarily look like they'd be a good kitchen fae, so to speak, doesn't necessarily look like they'd be the best storyteller, but has this like je ne sais quoi of being able to like pull you in and is a caretaker and is lovable for all the very like a lot of the same things that you're saying, but a very different vision of what that is. And I just want to give Nick Offerman more stuff to do. I think that he is coming into kind of like a second coming in his career, so to speak, and he's stepping away from, you know, multi-season shows, and he's, I think, choosing to do some more maybe things that flex his acting muscle, and I think this would be a really cool thing to watch him take.
Well, and I think The Last of Us really opened everybody's eyes to what he can really do.
One of the most gorgeous episodes in TV that I have ever seen.
Truly. Now, it's Pride, so let's have this conversation.
Yeah.
John Waters is gay. Emerus and Malachi are a gay queer couple. I wanted to make sure that representation was correctly aligned. Nick Offerman, from what I know, is straight.
He's married to a woman. I don't know if he identifies as straight, bisexual,
I don't know.
Whatever that may be.
I will
say that the Malachi that I cast is gay. So I wanted to make sure that there was at least in one half of that couple representation.
Yes, agreed.
Because I really wanted to try to find two gay actors to do it, but I also don't want to necessarily make assumptions about folks' sexual orientation.
Well, or you're pigeonholing yourself into who you can cast who is openly gay in Hollywood.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Because I also thought about Chris Pine, too, to be honest.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Younger, but
a
fun.
little, and because I was aiming for a little bit younger at first, and then I said, you know, I really feel like I need to solidly go into like the 50s, you know, in terms of age as a bare minimum.
I feel like we kind of hit a good age range. John Waters is on a little bit of the higher end. He's not that old. Nick Offerman, you know, in his 50s, 60s. That being said, Nick Offerman, no one had any qualms about his episode 3 in Last of Us.
People thought that he handled it so beautifully, and the way that they talked about how they were working together, and the way that he talked about in interviews about how he wanted to make sure that he did that story justice, and he won an award for it, you know?
Yeah,
and so,
well, I mean, we should just cast the two of them as Emerus and Malachi, because it's like the same relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they would be perfect, both of them. I have something to pose to you.
What is your...
Why not Nick Offerman for your Malachi?
Because Malachi is listed more as a warrior. And so when it comes to kind of the physicality and the caretaker versus the fighting for it, I wanted to go with somebody who I felt like gives me more of a former warrior vibe physically. And I hate to pigeonhole him into that sense because, you know, body size doesn't equal anything really. But of the two people that I cast, I got more of the caretaker vibe in terms of what I was feeling for Nick Offerman, and more of a like could put to play former warrior vibe based on some recent things that this actor has done for the other one. Do we want to tune in for part 2 to hear a decision for this and to see
That's exactly what we're going to do, Adara.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're going to do. We're not going to decide, Emrys. I'm so sorry, listeners, because we got to see who our Malachis are. So tune in for part 2 to hear the rest. But right now, let's recap who we've cast. Our Adian Ash River is Austin Butler. Our Ren Alsbrook is Derek Luh, with his grandfather Murtaugh Alsbrook, which is Haruyuki Sanada. Our Sorsha is Avantika. Our Maeve is Megan Fox. Both decided across the board. Very proud.
So
our Rowan Whitehorn is Colson Baker, otherwise known as MGK.
Woo!
Woo! We went crazy with it. And our Emrys is TBD.
TBD.
And we'll see you guys for part 2. Bye!
Bye!